Welcome to today's video, which is plugging variables in. This will be a two-part video with two different worksheets. And so the skill today is really to try and plug numbers inside of equations and see what the result is. So without waiting too long, let's just jump in and do these questions. This is a follow-along format, and I guarantee that if you follow these videos, you will do great at school with algebra, or you will learn algebra really quickly. So 4 times x, you get given here an enunciate, which is if x is 5, y is 6, find the values of the following expression. So your job is to put these numbers in as the variables that they are. So 4 times x really means 4 times 5, since x is 5. So you just say 4 times 5, which is 20. And so I'll let you start with question B. So here we'll have to do 5 plus 2 times 6, and then 2 times 6 is going to go first because of the order of operations. So don't do 5 plus 2 first. 2 times 6 will go first, which is 12, and then 12 plus 5 is 17. Very good if you manage to do that. Try question C. So in question C, we have x plus y inside the bracket, which is 5 plus 6. So we have 2 times 5 plus 6. And then 5 plus 6 is 11. So 2 times 11 is 22. Very good if you manage to do question C. Question D. Let's go. So in question D, we have 3 times y. So 3 times 6. Minus 3 times x, which is 3 times 5. So 3 times 6 is going to go first, then the subtraction, then the 3 times 5. So 3 times 6 is 18, 3 times 5 is 15, so 18 minus 15 is 3. And then we can try question E. So x minus y in the bracket is 5 minus 6, so this is the same as 3 times 5 minus 6. And 5 minus 6 is negative 1. So this will be the same as 3 times negative 1. And I'll continue this question down here. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And for question F, in fact, I'm going to start doing the questions down here. 3 times x minus y. So 3 times 5 minus y, which is 6. So 3 times 5 is 15, so this will be 15 take away 6. And 15 take away 6 is 9. Question G. So this time we have to set it up as 2 times 5 minus 2 times 6. And so 5 times 5 minus 2 times 6 is going to happen separately. This is going to be grouped like this. So the multiplications go first. So we have 2 times 25 minus 12. And 25 minus 12 is 13. So this is 2 times 13, which is going to be equal to 26. Question H. So question H says 5 times y minus x, so y is 6, minus 5 for x, and then plus 2. So we'll have to do 6 minus 5 first, so 5 times 1 plus 2. And 5 times 1 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7. Okay, question I. So question I says 2 times 3x, so 3 times 5, minus 2y minus 2 times 6, which is going to be 2 times, so 3 times 5 is 15, minus 2 times 6 is 12, so this is 2 times 3, which is 6. After that comes question J. So question J says 2y minus 5, so 2 times 6 minus 5. 2 times 6 is equal to 12. 12 minus 5 is 7, you guys. Moving on to question K. 16 minus 2x, so minus 2 times 5. Negative 2 times 5 goes first. Again, multiplication always first. Minus 10, which is 6. And then question L. 5 plus 2 times 6 minus 3 times 5, which is 5 plus 12 minus 15. So 5 plus 12 is 17. 17 minus 15, that is equal to 2. And so well done if you've done this first worksheet. We have another one to go through. So you guys are doing amazing. Let's get through this one. So question 4a first. Q squared. So you're given P is 2, Q is negative 3, R is negative 1, S is negative 5. And this is good practice because oftentimes students can get confused with negative numbers. So this is a good place to start. So if Q is negative 3 and then it's squared, it means negative 3 times itself. So you can think of negative 3 times negative 3. And so when you do a negative number times a negative number, you will get a positive number. So this is going to become a positive, and then 3 times 3, or 3 squared, is 9. And question B, 2PQ. So let's be very clear on the fact that positive times negative, that's going to be equal to negative. And then when you multiply two negatives, negative times negative, that's when you get a positive. So just be aware of this as you do these questions. So 2PQ, that is 2 times 2 for P times negative 3 for Q. So what is a positive times a negative? Well, positive times positive is positive, and then positive times negative is negative. So this will become a negative number, and then 2 times 3 is 4 times 3, which is 12. Let's do question C, 3p squared. So this is 3 times 2 squared, and 2 squared is 4, so 3 times 4 is 12. Question D, so C was 12. Question D here, R cubed. So R is negative 1, so this means negative 1 cubed, which means negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. Oh my god. Okay, so what's a negative times a negative? That's going to come up positive. And then positive times one more negative is going to be negative. So negative. And then 1 times 1 times 1 is just 1. So that's how you do question D. Question E, QRS. I guess that's the last three numbers multiplied by each other. So this will be negative 3 times negative 1 times negative 5. So again, think of what a negative times a positive turns out to be. Oh, sorry. What a negative times a negative times a negative turns out to be. So two negatives give you a positive, and then if you multiply by minus one more time, you get a negative. And then 3 times 5, well, that is 15. Because 3 times 1 is 3, and then 3 times 5 is 15. So I like to separate, positivity and negativity in the operation itself. So question F, let's try and do that here. So Q squared plus S. So Q is negative 3, and if you square it, it'll probably come up positive, plus S, so plus negative 5. Okay, so negative 3 squared is a negative times a negative, which is a positive, and 3 squared is 9. And then plus negative 5, it just means take away 5. So this is going to wind up being 4. Okay, we can do question G over here. S minus Q squared. So S is negative 5, and then minus, you have Q squared, which is negative 3 squared. So this ends up being negative 5, so minus, and then negative 3 squared, that's just going to end up being 9. So you end up with minus 5 take away 9, and so when you're at negative 5 and you go down by 9, you find yourself at negative 14. So that's this one, minus 5 minus 9, which is negative 14. That was for question G. And we just have a few more to go, so we can do question H here. PQ plus RS. So PQ is 2 times -3, and then RS is -1 times -5. Notice that I really take the time to set up the equation to make sure that I don't make a mistake. So positive times a negative is going to happen first because it's a times. 2 times -3 is -6. And then we add to this a negative times a negative, which is a positive, so +5. And -6 plus 5 is -1. So then question I, p squared minus q squared. So that's 2 squared minus, and then q squared is -3 squared. So 2 squared is 4, and then to that we take away a negative squared, which is going to become +9. You've had -3 squared a few times by now, so you should be getting used to the fact that a negative squared becomes positive. So 4 minus 9, that is -5. So as long as you separate things like that, you probably won't make any mistakes. Just make sure you stay methodical in the way that you work and nicely organized, and you should be doing pretty good with these kinds of questions. So question J, p plus q squared. So 2 plus, what's q squared? -3 squared. So negative times negative is positive, so 2 plus 9, which is 11. That's question J. We can do question K over here. P plus q squared. So p plus q is 2 plus -3, so I can just say 2 minus 3, and then squared. And 2 minus 3 is -1, which is squared, and -1 squared is just going to be 1, because a negative times a negative is a positive. And this leaves us with the last question, which is question L. So 2p, 2 times 2, minus 3qs. So minus 3 times q, so -3 times s, which is -5. Okay, you guys can try it out. So 2 times 2 is 4, and then a negative times a negative times a negative, that's going to be a negative. And then 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 5 is 45, so minus 45. And 4 take away 45, that's a negative number, -41. And that's it for plugging in values. So well done if you've completed those 2 worksheets with me today on plugging variables in. Again, trying to help you to learn algebra with me on the Mathemagic channel. I shall see you on the next time. Well done for today. Bye-bye.